It made me a lot more scared to come to school, and it made me feel self-conscious because in a way I felt like I couldn't be myself.
I was a little bit scared to go to school for a while.
People are more scared to talk about it than they should be.
I don't know who I can trust.
It just made me feel really powerless. I didn't know how to help him.
It affected me by thinking that I wasn't good enough, or that I was weak and that I was unnormal and that no one would ever like me.
Two years ago, it was Pride Month, and I wore my pride flag to school, and one of the senior guys poured water on me and said, "Burn the flag." And he didn't get in any trouble for it, but I did, which I think was kind of stupid. I think it has partially reason to do with where we live, because a lot of people here aren't accepting of people like me, and the only response I got from a teacher that day was a negative one, saying that I was at fault for it because I wore a pride flag to school.
School should have a zero violence tolerance. I really just feel like there should just be a zero tolerance for violence. I mean, that to me feels like a very, and not just violence as like physical violence, but as social violence.
And I think it's helping. I think having a GSA and having, a pride flag hanging in my classroom and having sort of the visibility around the building is starting to create positive conversations.
Yeah, in 6th grade was when I was figuring out, oh, maybe I'm not this straight boy that I've always thought I was. So I figured that out, and I kept that really close to my chest. And I was like, well, I need to tell somebody because having this deep personal secret it felt really bad. So Vermonters, mostly they're nice, but if they're not nice, they also have guns and are strong because they drive the tractor and are on the farm. And so, I know that these people could hurt me very much if they wanted to. And I don't want to be hurt, of course, and so it was scary, and I was a little bit scared to go to school for a while.
I've had an ex-boyfriend call me slurs like a dyke and make me feel bad about myself when I thought I liked him and I didn't really like him. And I've had people tell me that it's just a phase and that I'm going to grow out of it, when in reality I just like women.
There are still issues that are coming up in our school where people are using derogatory words, and the phrase of "that's so gay" is still pretty rampant in our building. So we are trying to change the culture and change the conversation.
Feeling different and not having anyone to connect with can lead to isolation, and isolation can lead to scarier situations. I think that suicide in teens is very high, and I think it's even higher in LGBTQ communities.
I run the Gender and Sexuality Alliance at Middlebury Union Middle School, and my goal is to have a safe space where all students, allies, and queer identifying youth can come and talk about different issues that they're experiencing, feel a sense of support from their peers, and also work to educate the larger school community. Eventually,
I confided in a couple of teachers, and one of the teachers outed me to the entire class, which was awful of that teacher. That teacher should not have done it. They did not do it on purpose, though. They did not understand what they were doing, and that they shouldn't have been doing it. And most of my class was great. However, there were multiple people that just stopped talking to me. One of my best friends at the time basically stopped talking to me pretty much right after that. And it hurts to lose your best friend. It was not fun, and I'm glad that everybody knows, and I didn't have to tell everybody myself. But I'm not happy about the way it happened, and losing friends and losing people.
And my concern would be fitting, I guess, not fitting in necessarily, but finding a place where all students feel comfortable and feel like they belong.
Well, I think that there should be more gender-neutral bathrooms, and they should be more clearly marked. I feel like teachers need to be more educated about the importance of people's pronouns. Several times I've explained that I use they, them pronouns, and teachers have been like, okay, got it, and then started using she, her pronouns for me, which is really annoying.
I think a lot of it, I think the first thing that I would focus on is terminology, because I think even still adults in my building are not recognizing gender pronouns of their students, and how harmful that can be to students, and sort of the impact of correct terminology. While it seems simple and straightforward, terminology is a really huge part of the humanity of LGBTQ students and recognizing their experiences.
It's a gender liberation in Vermont schools toolkit. So it's an 8-page piece with some insert that actually is like sort of describing why it's important for us to have gender liberation in schools, why it's important for us to uplift sexism and transphobia and try to create shifts. And the main way we come to like strategies is by doing analysis of what's happening.
Probably if people were to be more accepting, or like teachers showing they were accepting, probably to do more subjects on LGBTQ education, and talk about the situations and talk about what's going on in the world sometimes, and bring like friendly films and books about LGBTQ friendly stories into class maybe.
I think that teachers need to become more aware of like what bullying against the LGBTQ plus community looks like, and some of the words that are not okay.
The more that students feel like they belong, I think the less challenges we would see in schools related to mental health, at least for one place for students to feel like they belong, that they have a voice, and that they are an advocate for themselves and for their LGBTQ peers is really, really important.
Be open, be honest. People are to not close-minded, but closed lips. Even if you don't think the wrong things, not speaking up is extremely detrimental.